last name is synonymous with poultry. From Diamond Farm in Wendell, please welcome Tessa White Diamond.
Like any farm, my family and I have our morning chores. We need to check the chickens, the cows, the goats. We need to make sure the donkeys and the sheep have their feed. In the warmer months, we need to make sure that the turkeys are okay out on pasture. My grandparents started the farm back in 1936 and raised a dozen kids. It's a lot. Nestled in Western Mass in the small town of Wendell, they went on to raise their brood along with a couple thousand chickens. They taught my mom and her siblings how to work hard, that it's okay to get dirty and be tired at the end of the day. Caring for animals is a huge responsibility. My grandfather used to say that their lives are in our hands, that they rely on us for everything. At first, this was overwhelming to me. At times, it still is. See, I didn't set out to farm. Sure, I had grown up on the farm and helped whenever it was needed. My brother and I would help on Sunday mornings, package eggs with our mom. A couple times a year, we would move the chickens from the brooder house to the laying house. At Thanksgiving time, we would help process turkeys, but I never thought it was going to be my full-time gig. Instead, I was going to be a social worker and save the world that way. My mom, she used to say that she would have been a therapist if she hadn't been a farmer. So with that in mind, either consciously or unconsciously, I went off to college to study social work. I got a job helping the elderly remain safely at home. I did that for a dozen or so years, but honestly, I didn't feel like I was making a difference. I didn't feel like I had enough power to make any real change. Most of my days were spent visiting with elders in their homes, listening to their concerns. While I enjoyed that, I often felt at a loss of how to actually help them. I didn't feel like my role could meet their needs. I tried a few other jobs, but the feeling did not go away. I wanted to make a difference, but in a tangible way. So after many long talks with my family, I moved back home and began learning the family business. It is not a decision that I took lightly, though. While my family is huge, farming hadn't been anyone's true calling. A few relatives had tried making it their full-time career, but for one reason or another, things didn't pan out. I wanted to give it a go. Understandably, though, I was nervous. I wondered, what would my life look like? Was I making a huge mistake? Would I disappoint my family and all that they had built? There was only one way that I could find out. I had to at least try. When I first moved back to the farm, I was overwhelmed by the sheer responsibility of having so many lives in my hands. Now, hear me out. I understand that I just came back from a decade of caring for elders. But this was different. Every second of every day, I had thousands of lives relying on me. I remember being so consumed by the fear of losing even one animal that it took me a long time before I agreed to check the animals on my own. Just think, if I missed a break in the fence, a coyote could get in and wreak havoc with the turkeys. If I missed a heater malfunctioning in a barn, everything could literally go up in flames. If doors were left open between coops, the older turkeys could get in with the younger turkeys, and trust me, it would not be pretty. Over time, though, I became more confident. I learned the different things to look for. I learned to check the feed, the water, the air quality. I learned how to help keep our herds and our flocks safe. Having my family by my side has been crucial. But let's shift gears to a beautiful morning in August. The sun is shining, hardly any clouds are in the sky. We had just had an awful rainstorm the night before, but you would not know it from the gorgeous day that we're having. I'm out with my family and we're checking the animals, and then we see it. My heart just drops. My worst fear has come to life. As we get closer, it's clear that we have stumbled upon a sea of dead turkeys. We have not lost just one turkey. We've lost more than 100. My mind races. What do we do next? How much has this cost us? My only solace is that my family has had the foresight to diversify our farm. The turkeys will become part of the compost, which will be sold in the spring. We will still sell pot pies and soups from our farm store. We will continue to sell eggs across the valley. While this will not make or break us financially, it sure can break your spirit. So, my uncle, he heads to get the tractor, while the rest of us head to the field. We schlepp through the mud, gathering the turkeys as best we can. At one point, I get on the back of the tractor, and I look up, and I notice the beautiful blue sky, the bright sun that's shining down on all of us, everyone working together. And despite all the devastation around me, I can't help but know that I'm right where I belong, surrounded by my family. I'm supposed to be right here, continuing the legacy that my grandparents started all those years ago. These are my people. This is our farm, our vision. While those are not the last turkeys we ever lost, or will ever lose, I learned one thing that day. The best thing to do in farming is to get up, dust yourself off, and prepare for the next adventure. Thank you.
Tessa White Diamond.